I'm Wrong by Bubbly_Writer. Chapter 1. Izuku ended up being able to close his eyes the night before, and was now being woken up by the laughing children, which immediately put him on high alert. While he packed his stuff in his bag, he was a 14-year-old boy, so he was still small, even compared to his classmates. He was always among the shortest. He took his bag and carefully left, earning a few suspicious looks up and down from the teachers, but if he ran, he'd simply look suspicious. He was barely in the middle of the school year when he actually thought about it. He was definitely out of place since everyone had to be at school. He'd have to find a better place to hide. Good thing he had a free day. He'll try finding somewhere to stay. Once out of the park, he starts walking on the not-so-crowded streets, having some sort of idea where he was going. There's an abandoned warehouse that's maybe 2 hours walk away. The place was barely even approached because of all the haunted stories. Midori wasn't scared. Since a few years back, he had went to explore the place, curious about the rumors. There was nothing except rubbish. At the time, he felt disappointed, but now he was more than happy that the place was safe. He walked, and his stomach started to hurt. Izuku used to 3 meals a day, so going to the bare minimum was certainly going to affect him. Maybe slowly decreasing the portions will help. He looks around, and after a while he spots a dollar store. So he goes there trying to be quick, scared to be recognized. He grabbed some bread and some tuna cans. He was taunted by the candy aisle, but went against it and went for the essentials only. He found a blanket for $3. It was cheap and all, but it was perfect. He took 2. It was February, so it was cold out, especially for someone as small as Midoriya. He took a small camping lantern that was powered by sun. He directly went to check out to avoid being taunted by other stuff. The lady was young and lived in another world, so she didn't even analyze the boy. Izuku couldn't help but sigh in relief. $28.09, she says after scanning everything. Izuku had over 1,000, so he had it for a few weeks or months of food with that money. He paid for his 3 packs of bread, 2 bags of nuts, 20 tuna cans that were at $2 for $1, the blanket, the lantern, a small watch, and a small flashlight. He found with a pack of batteries. He found with a pack of 8 batteries. There we go. He left the store with a plastic bag and continued his way. He looked around, trying to recognize the surroundings, and after a while he was able to replace a toy store that he went a lot growing up. He walked on the sidewalk that was now more crowded. He went along blending in the mass and easily passing through the people. He walked for about an hour before he found a small park, and he took the occasion to go fill his water bottle. That was now almost empty. There was a few kids his age around, but only one group got his attention. When he recognized them, he put his hood on and ran off terrified. He couldn't deal with anything they would say, but one of them already recognized the messy green hair. Deku? He turned to see Bakugo, who was coming in his direction with his friend group. Izuku ran even faster. He ran in an alleyway, still hearing the footsteps of the group and Bakugo's yelling, and friends laughing in the back. There was a fence, and he threw his duffel bag first on the other side, and then the other food bag. The group was dangerously close by now, and Izuku didn't need to think twice to climb to get to the other side. He took off and ran, not looking back once. He heard Bakugo's screams, but he didn't care. He was hungry and tired, and he didn't have the energy of getting beaten up. Once far, he looked back, and he saw Bakugo standing there alone. Izuku could have sworn to have seen guilt on the blonde's face, but he blamed it on the fatigue. He continued walking slowly, and he looked around, seeing he was in a large field. It wasn't the streets anymore. It was more natural. He didn't have to worry of the police finding him here, and thus coincidentally bump into his childhood friend, who was also his main bully. He had walked for maybe an hour or so when he was able to see the warehouse. He was happy to have found some sort of shortcut. He sat on the ground and took out 2 slices of bread, and he put half a tuna can to make himself a sandwich and ate some nuts with it. It was peaceful. He felt at ease. After he finished, he was a little scared of going inside, since it was giving off creepy vibes. He finally went to the door, and after a while, he managed to get inside. It was only illuminated by the windows at the top of the building and ceiling. It was dusty, which made Izuku cough, but it was hotter inside than out. He went up some stairs and was standing on a half floor. It wasn't closed, and he had a full view of the place. There was a container at the middle, and it was scaring the boy, who swore to himself not to get close to it. He took out his blankets and took the first one to put on the floor and kept the other one to cover himself at night. He placed the lantern at the sun so it would charge. Apparently, once fully charged, it should last up to 16 hours, which is great for the nighttime, especially for someone like Izuku who is afraid of the dark. He was satisfied of his setup and took out the duffel bag, everything that was hard, which meant his notebooks. The rest was clothes that he left inside to continue using the bag as a pillow. He was tired though. He didn't sleep much and had a long walk. Maybe a small nap will do good. Katsuki was with the group he hanged out at school with when he spotted the green-haired boy that soon after hid his hair and started running. Bakugo ran after him, yelling his name, but his friends followed him, laughing, thinking it was to annoy the Viridian boy. When they got at the fence, Katsuki wanted to go past it, but he couldn't, like if some sort of force was holding him back. When he saw Izuku running with his bag, he felt bad. If he wasn't so bad to the freckled teen, then he'd go home with him, where he would be safe. But now, he's alone, defenseless, and Katsuki couldn't even blame Izuku for running. For all the other boy could know, Bakugo just wanted to harm him. That's what he always did after all, terrorize his entire existence. Bakugo had finally left after realizing that Izuku wasn't coming back. That was chapter 1. Hope you guys enjoyed chapter 1. I will also be reading chapter 2. So, yeah. Chapter 2. Izuku has been hiding in the warehouse for about 2 weeks now, and his days consisted of him sleeping, eating, and exploring. He found a few things interesting around, like newspapers. He had fun taking notes on old fights with heroes, and he discovered new things on All Might that weren't on the internet anymore. He went to see what was inside the container, though it scared him too much. The night was slowly settling down, so Izuku had opened his small light. He was planning on going to find a bigger source of water, since all he found was a water fountain 20 minutes away, which wasn't a very big source. It was just enough for his water bottle. He wanted to at least rinse his clothes, so he was planning on filling up a bin he found in the warehouse. He jumped when he heard a loud noise and immediately closed the light and moved to the corner. He decided to peek in on the conversation. The reunion is soon. Is everything ready? Yes, everything is here. We only need to install the bomb, and our plan is going to be complete. Bomb? Izuku was slightly panicked that he's been living with a bomb this whole time, but he kept his mouth shut. So both All Might and Endeavor are supposed to be there, correct? It seemed that there was a third man. Correct. Good. Now, the third man didn't finish his sentence before Izuku could hear a commotion, and the place was being stormed. Izuku did his best to stay out of view, and he was able to recognize a few pro heroes. There's an R-rated hero, Midnight, that he recognized. He couldn't allow himself to be seen, so he stayed in the corner, tears in his eyes, terrified that anyone would notice him. The commotion slowly calmed down, and the police was there to take away the men from earlier. Izuku was holding on to his plushie for dear life. He had his eyes closed, shut, waiting for the commotion to calm down. And when it did, he opened his eyes. He looked to see a man sitting nearby, maybe a meter away from him. You're the kid who went missing, correct? The black-haired man asked, and Izuku stayed silent. I'm underground hero Eraserhead, but my name is Shoto Izawa. The man says, trying to gain the kid's trust. Why are you here? The black-haired man asked the boy, who finally looked up at him. No one came here. I was safer here. Izuku mumbles. I see you have a bunch of notebooks. Do you write? Yeah, I do. Hero analysis. It's dumb, I know. Izuku mumbles, tears forming in the corner of his eyes. He brings his legs closer to his chest. It's not dumb, the black-haired man says, wondering who put that idea in his head. Please don't make me go back. I can give you money, but please. The green looks at him with pleading eyes. I don't want your money, kid, Aizawa says, trying to find a solution. I just can't let you leave you in a position that you could be in danger, the hero explains to the boy who was crying. I'm quirkless. Quirkless people never get treated well. I don't want to. I want my mom. Izuku sobs, tears stream down his freckled cheeks. I know that you're right. I won't lie on that, but come with me for now. You can stay with me and my husband. We can try finding a solution afterwards, says Shota suggests, and the Viridian boy looks at him unsure. I guess you must know President Mike? The man asks, and Izuku looks at him excited. He would listen to him on the radio every day. Izuku nods to the man, who felt relieved to see that the boy had more trust. He's my husband. I know he'd be happy to meet you. I'm sure of it. Izuku thinks about it, doing the pros and cons, but I'm quirkless. You shouldn't waste your time with me, the freckled boy mumbles. Do I look like I care? You're not wasting anyone's time here. He was annoyed by whoever put that idea in the teen's head. A kid his age wouldn't think that if he wasn't told. Izuku stayed silent, wondering if he could trust him. He looked sincere of his words. Maybe he was nice. Midoriya was unsure on what to do. We can also go get something else than tuna to eat, the pro says, and Izuku blushes from embarrassment. I, okay. Izuku wasn't sure of his choice, and Aizawa was internally celebrated his victory. Grab your stuff. We aren't coming back here, especially that it's a crime scene now. Aizawa orders, and the boy nods, putting the stuff in his bags, but kept the plushie in his hands, scared that it would get mixed with the dust and dirt of everything else. I have everything, Izuku mumbles, getting up and reluctantly following the men. So you're 14, correct? Aizawa asks the boy, who nods. Once out the warehouse, an officer comes rushing out to see the boy. Izuku Midoriya? The officer asks, making Izuku think that maybe this was a trap. That Aizawa wasn't going to keep him. Yes, I'll bring him home with me. I'll figure the rest out in the morning, Aizawa explains, making Midoriya feel relieved. Perfect. I'll take out his disappearance notice. Thank you, Eraserhead, the officer says before walking off. Let's go, Izuku. Izuku nods at the tired-looking men and falls into his car. Bakugo was refusing to talk to anyone. They all seemed like a nuisance. There was still no sign of Izuku. Katsuki tried going again, where he last saw him, but there was no one. His classmates were cheering, but Izuku was gone, which infuriated Katsuki to his core. It had been 2 weeks, and it felt like a year to the bond. Mitsuki was also worried, but even the police had no leads except some security footage of him. Katsuki's life was a loop. He only slept, ate, and studied. He was still minded on becoming a hero. That was their dream, of becoming the best hero duo in the world. But he had to ruin it, destroy the friendship with the only person who never judged him for his explosive personality. That was Chapter 2. Hope you guys enjoyed both Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Chapter 3 and 4 will be coming out tomorrow. Well, not tomorrow, obviously, but on next Wednesday. Anyways, I will be doing the My Hero Academia one-shots, so that'll be posted this weekend because I am struggling to find a lot of one-shots. And I'm not sure which one-shot for the last one I want to do. Probably a Dead Zawa and Dad Mike pick, most likely. And then I'll have like some Izuku Ink stuff and Bakugo and many others. But for now, I am going to keep trying to find a lot more so I can put it in the video of one-shots, and you guys can listen to that for a while. But hope you guys did enjoy Chapter 1 and 2 of Prove Them Wrong. Anyways, bye.